Thanks for tuning in to Unclogged, a Zoom Drain podcast. We've got a special episode for you today, as we've invited our friend and fellow franchisee, Dennis the Apprentice, to dig deep on the humble beginnings of being an apprentice and how that translates into a successful career. You can find Dennis the Apprentice on Instagram and on his podcast, Behind the Windshield. So, let's run it.
Glad you're here.
Thank you. A pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so I just met you a couple days ago. I know John fairly. I just met John, and
Sure.
He knew you, and he introduced us.
Yeah. John and I actually worked together for about 16 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, prior to us going out, kind of on our own and focusing on the type of work that we do.
So you worked for John?
I did. Yeah, for many years. I started out working for John early on in the early stages of the Pipe Shark Incorporated,
okay,
which is now part of your Zoom franchise.
Yeah,
and then basically a few years later they brought me on as a partner.
Okay,
and then basically we grew things to what they were until we ended up restructuring in say June 2020.
Okay.
At that point, basically my original design build division at the Pipe Shark, we kind of became our own entity, kind of split up the residential, the service, and then my heavy construction side.
Okay.
And then rest is kind of history.
Very cool. So you don't do service work. You're not a drain cleaner necessarily.
We don't.
So what kind of work do you do?
So we're a specialty utility contractor. Our focus is really large diameter pipe bursting, slip lining with HDPE, maybe complex conventional excavation and some drill work, pipe ramming. Basically any type of hard to access piping, and we specialize in things PE related. So we'll use different types of products.
What's PE stand for?
Oh, I'm sorry. So polyethylene.
Okay.
Yeah, and various derivatives. So the majority of what we use in our projects is going to be high density polyethylene, which I know some of you guys use in your individual Zoom franchises where we fuse that together. That's actually a whole family of different piping. So we have different basically derivatives of that type of piping that can be used for industry specific applications, high temperature, different things like that.
Did you go to college?
I did actually. Yeah, and believe it or not, I was a biology major.
A biology major. Yeah. How did you find your way to this kind of utility work?
Well, kind of. Basically, I always did really well in school, but I was always mechanical. So basically, people pushed me to go to college, even though admittedly I didn't want to go to college.
Right.
So when basically everybody said, you got to go to school, got to go to school, got to go to school, the thing that always made sense for me is like biology is still in my mind pretty mechanical. Like basically, you get to figure out how things work. So that's kind of how life works.
Sure.
And basically, so I worked through school, so basically working full time, doing school 2 days a week, and just basically packing that with my credits. And then my focus was actually I wanted to become a high school biology teacher.
Okay.
And then basically, towards the tail end of college, I was still just really a mechanical guy with my passion being there.
Right.
And then it just made more sense to kind of fall back into the trades versus going that direction.
How did you know you're mechanical? How's that show up in your life?
Well, basically, I'm kind of a farm kid. So my grandfather was a commercial dairy farmer. Okay. And then so my dad grew up on a farm. And just growing up, we just if you couldn't fix something, it didn't get fixed.
Right.
So we basically learned to be good mechanics, at fault. You did everything, by fault, I should say.
Right.
You did what you could, and I actually grew up really enjoying that.
So besides the money, what do you like about your job, your career that you do now? Where do you find joy?
For me, since we're primarily a design build contractor, it couldn't be a better job for me, really. So basically, clients come to us and say, hey, we have this problem. We have a variety of different, technology offerings. So I get to meet with my client, understand their needs, understand their budget. We can help them build a solution that's going to work for them mechanically within their budget. And we get to solve something that there's not a lot of other people that have a off-the-shelf solution for. So for us, it's, beyond the fact that it is admittedly pretty lucrative, I love getting up for work every day.
Awesome. What about it?
No job is, no two jobs are the same for us. We
Sure.
do get to travel. We have just awesome clients. We do a lot of institutional work for municipalities, work closely with engineers, say manufacturing and packaging facilities that basically, operations cannot shut down, but they still need their utilities repaired, replaced, upgraded. And
Right.
we help them design a solution for that.
Can you just help me wrap my mind around it, like giving me an example of a problem that you help solve?
Well, like for instance, we've as I've said, we've done a lot of industrial work. So, for instance, like say we're working in whether it's a pharmaceutical or it's a manufacturing facility where they basically say to you, hey, if we're not running product, over X number of shifts in a day, we lose X amount of money. So we don't necessarily, a great job is we don't necessarily care how much it costs because it's not going to offset what we're going to lose through loss in production. So basically we're coming to them designing a solution to replace that while keeping the system, everything in normal operation with being minimally invasive. And that's kind of really our niche.
Now, is this like sewer related or
Sewer, water, gas, electrical conduits.
any of the big utilities?
Yes, sir. Yes,
And
sir.
you're working with cities or big companies or?
Actually, kind of all the above.
Oh,
We
wow.
again, we do a lot of work with schools and colleges. We
Okay.
do work really closely with engineering firms, and a lot of their clients are municipalities. We do a lot of domestic water, sanitary sewer, and storm work. That's probably the bulk of what we do.
Storm work, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So how did you find you at Pipe Shark? You
Yes, sir.
did sewer work, more more residential.
We did. When
How
we
did you
start-
find yourself to this?
So basically, as I was saying, so my dad and his brothers, they were the first generation that weren't, again, commercial dairy farmers.
Right.
My dad was always, really mechanical. Also, my uncle, his brother, he was a master plumber by trade.
Okay.
In the area that we lived in, pretty rural, did a lot of septic work, well work, and then, just with our agricultural background, we're at home on a piece of operating equipment. So basically, I grew up helping him on the side, giving a hand. When I came to Pipe Shark, I came in there not really knowing a direction, thinking, maybe service plumber, kind of like some of what my uncle did. By my probably second or third day there, with knowing I had experience with operating equipment, underground stuff, they stole me on the excavation side, which was Pipe Shark. It was a daughter company to a larger service company at the time.
Okay.
And then basically I got in on the ground floor, helped them kind of grow that from our initial, like say, lateral and water service offerings to we grew that into larger and larger and larger, projects and piping.
You just kept on taking bigger and bigger work,
Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
now you specialize in crazy work. It
Yeah,
sounds like
exactly.
stuff that no one else wants to do.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, are you ever looking for help?
We are. Absolutely.
So, how do you find help?
Well, for us, really, I think what makes us good is we're just so passionate about what we do, and basically we need to deliver, and we're jazzed by what we deliver. So we're looking for basically like-minded people, and they do not have to come from our trade, come from any trade. Come to us with work ethic, be excited, want to be part of a team, and
Right.
that's exactly what we're looking for.
And then you're solving big, complex problems.
Exactly. And you're building a team that really represents you well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So when you bring someone on, how can you tell a person's going to fit versus how can you tell when a person's not going to fit? Like, what are those characteristics or habits that they do that clues you into that?
Well, I think you can learn a lot by even an initial introduction to someone. Like you can feel you can just kind of feel their energy.
Right.
And I've seen people, from different trades that you're like, oh my God, or even just various jobs where you're like, oh my God, that kid, he would be perfect. I was fueling up on the way here, and I saw, if he wasn't in a different state, I saw this kid changing trash bag liners in trash cans at the gas station. This kid was running, picking up trash, checking on things, talking to people. That's the kind of guys you want.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Just take it, whatever it is, being passionate about it.
Absolutely.
I met a kid 2 days ago. He sold me a Monster drink out there at the concession.
Okay.
And he said something like, I kind of feel like I should be in there, not out here.
Yeah.
I'm like, you should be. And I liked him. He's a likable guy right away. And so yesterday he made his way over here and we were showing him around. And,
Okay.
You know, he has no idea about drain cleaning or Zoom drain.
Okay.
He's got a business degree. He'll probably see this because he follows Dennis the Apprentice now.
Nice.
But it's like there's so much opportunity to trades. And if you
Absolutely.
if you bring your passion and your willingness
Absolutely.
and your interest.
Yeah. You figure the trades, they'll never be able to outsource what we do. You know, that they can't send the services that you and I provide overseas.
Right.
You know,
A robot can't do it.
exactly.
I love that about
Yeah.
the trades for sure.
Exactly.
So what's the wet show? Where are we at? What is this all about?
So basically, I mean, I think the wet show's it's a pretty diverse offering of basically any type of wastewater management, or even increasingly more, utility service offerings for basically, treating, transporting, inspecting, upgrading, all parts of the different systems.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Like we do the basic drain cleaning in houses. That's what
Okay.
Zoom Drain does.
Okay.
And then the techs come here,
Right.
and this is a huge world.
Oh my gosh, so much for them to see.
And it's like most people, they push the button on the toilet and the stuff disappears, right?
Sure.
And this is everything it takes to make that
Right.
continue to disappear, right?
Right.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, Steve, thanks for coming on.
Absolutely, sir.
Appreciate it.